I hope that you're able to hear me. Testing my microphone. You're able to hear me. Testing my microphone. It does appear that you can hear me. So welcome wherever you may be around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, and we are in our mindfulness room, our virtual room, sponsored by Real Virtual Events. And we're continuing our talk today around self-care. You can reach out to Real Virtual Events to create rooms just like the one that you see here, which have the avatars. Of course, I'm just fresh off International HR Day yesterday. And so I decided to have a little fun with it with sneakers and blonde hair. Of course, I'm an African-American man. It is not my desire to have blonde hair necessarily. Nothing wrong with blonde hair for the, I don't know, million blondes out there. But I thought it would be a really cool and fun thing to do. This platform gives you the opportunity to dress yourself up in different ways. And so I'm seated on the floor in front of a fireplace. So you can't see that I'm facing the fireplace, but I will kind of move the avatar around a bit so that you'll get the opportunity to see what I am looking at. You can do this for your executive team, for a retreat, for your HR team, for any team that you want to have moments of mindfulness. Some people have mindfulness Mondays. And so you could certainly utilize this room. You could certainly utilize the video screen to play any video content that you would want people that are in the room to view. And just as I am doing, you could then go live via a platform for others that aren't directly in the room to partake of what is actually happening in the room. And so when I was thinking of a title for today's Passion Fridays, I thought of the work around self-care that is near and dear to me. As a caregiver, I spend a lot of time caring for my mom, especially, and caring for my niece, Autumn, who is like a daughter to me, which have been the joys of my life. But I really needed to have self-care for me and to be more invested in the self-care for myself. I'm very happy that I was able to play those roles for them. And I was not perfect, or maybe I didn't do the very best job that I could have done. I'm not sure. But I tried the best effort that I could to ensure that both my mom and Autumn had a quality of life, especially in my mom's end of days. But I spent 6 years or better caregiving for her as a primary caregiver. And it really does take a village to do all of that. And though I can look back at some of those points in the 6 years and see where I may have sacrificed some of the caregiving that I should have been doing, make me a better caregiver for them, some of the self-care. And so I wanted to ask you, starting out in this first half hour of our presentation, a lot of people ask you every day, how are you? And we often answer without reservation, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm doing well. And it's our automatic response sometimes without a hello or any other type of greet. I want to challenge you and ask you, but are you fine really? All too often, we're busy and stressed. There's just too much going on in the day, and we're already short on time, right? Never enough time. Quite often, we're not as fine as we pretend to be. And if we're honest, we're probably not spending as much time on ourselves as we ought to. Kind of in short, we're neglecting a part of ourself and self-care. care. That's why self-care, I define it as love speaking to your worthiness, because you are worthy of a rich regimen and lifestyle self-care. I know it's difficult to talk about self because we've been trained not to be self-serving, be selfish, to be selfless, right? But all of those things require a basic thing that I want to offer as a premise to you. They all require self. To be selfish, you must have a sense of self. And to be selfless, you must have a sense of self. And in that sense of self, there needs to be a modicum of worthiness. If you think self-care isn't a big deal, here are some stats for you. 75% of people are chronically dehydrated. 30% of Americans are self-identified overweight. 70% of people feel like they don't get enough sleep at least once a month. And 11% of those say they're having trouble sleeping on a regular basis. 75% of Americans are tired before they even show up to work. 17% anxious, and 7% self-identify as depressed. And I put that demarcation in there of the self-identification because there are others that don't know to self-identify or are, for some reason, maybe fear of the stereotype or stigma, do not self-identify. No, we are probably not all fine, and it's probably time that we've done something about it. So today, in these next 14 or so minutes, we're going to explore some of the importance of self-care and how you might build these habits that help you to better practice self-care, and how that practice then powers your practice of gratefulness and gratitude, because you see a worthiness component, see a requirement to do something for self that also brings more of self to the world. And that's what I believe God has created us for, to bring more of ourselves to the world, to have the impact that He designed for us to have on the world. And I guarantee if you keep exploring this, you're going to feel like an entirely different human. I think it's going to be an exciting time for you, and I hope that you will dig in. I want you to take what is called 3 clarifying breaths. And I would encourage you to do this whenever you're getting ready to begin something new or begin something different than an activity that required your mind, body, and soul. So if you go running or getting ready to go running, or you exercise and you're getting ready to go to work, 3 deep breaths in through your nose or mouth, whatever you feel more comfortable, but blowing them out through your mouth or nose, doing the opposite. If you inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, vice versa. If you inhale through your mouth, exhale through your nose, and you will feel it deep in your belly and around to the sides of your rib cage if you're taking in deep enough breath. And take that breath, and over the span of about 10 seconds, after you inhale on the count of 5, exhale to 10 seconds so that you don't exhale all at once. 3 clarifying breaths. These tell your mind that you are going into a safe moment. There is no fight or flight. And so it can engage the parts of your brain that need to be engaged and disengage the parts of your brain that don't need to be engaged for what you're about to do. Okay? Now I call them 3 clarifying breaths. It clarifies that you are safe. You're entering into a safe space. And after you do that, now I will give you a moment to do those 3 clarifying breaths. Then I want you to start to ask yourself, why is it so hard to take care of ourselves? These moments of silence are to give you the opportunity to take those clarifying breaths on the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're breathing in deeply. That's it, deeply. And now we're exhaling to the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Drop your hands to your side. One more second. We're going to take in a deep breath on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Begin breathing in deeply. You're feeling it deep down in your belly, around to your rib cage. And we're getting ready to exhale 10 seconds. And 10, 9, 8. You're exhaling. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And let your arms rest and shake them a little to the side. Let your neck feel nimble and agile. Let your shoulders feel relaxed. Last breath on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in deeply. Again, you're feeling it down in your belly, around to the sides of your rib cage. And we're going to exhale. 10, 9, 8. Good. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Just relax. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. And we're ready. And hear this. We spend so much time worrying about those we love and making sure we meet all of our responsibilities that we forget about a very basic truth. We cannot fully take care of anyone else unless we are in a position to do so. There are some basic signs and symptoms that happen when your self-care suffers. You have a harder time thinking. You're sick more often or feel sick or unwell. Your quality of work suffers. You feel overwhelmed. You wake up tired even after a full night of sleep. You forget what you're about to say. You miss deadlines. You find yourself floating, isolated, and avoiding social situations. You're cranky or you feel off. You snap at people. Simple tasks seem to take a lot of effort. You forget little things such as returning a library book. You're dragged. You have a difficult time making decisions, even simple ones. You're worried or anxious, though you're not quite sure why. You can't sit still. You're not eating right, either too much or too little. Now, these can all be signs and symptoms of a number of different conditions, a number of different things. So they do not supplant, or our look at them do not should not be substituted for any counseling that you might be seeking or any medical professional or provider that is advising you. Also, you might not be following through on promises. You're ignoring the things you used to enjoy, either through a lack of interest or energy, and you've lost enthusiasm. Now, if these things are going on, ask yourself, how well are you really taking care of somebody else? And worse, are you doing right by the one person who's supposed to matter the most? Yeah, there's a nagging feeling of selfishness when we think of self-care, that we're not supposed to be spending so much time on ourselves. I mean, after all, isn't that pretty self-centered to just be thinking about yourself? Well, again, I share from Parker Palmer, who says self-care is not a selfish act. It is simply good stewardship of the only gift I have, the gift I was put on earth to offer others. Anytime we can listen to truth and give the care it requires, we do it not only for ourselves, but for the many others whose lives we touch. So, in short, we're only truly at our best when we have taken good, keen care of ourselves. And as we move forward, self-care is really what keeps you around to make sure you do care for others done. You want to be around. Now, good mental and physical health, talk about mind, body, and soul, can reverse many of those things we mentioned earlier. What would it be like if you had no trouble thinking, or if you never had to call out sick? I mean, really being sick. I'm sick all day. Right? Some people have those. What would it feel like to do your very best work or be your very best every day? What would it feel like to start every day? I can't wait to get my day started. That you look forward to what comes next with enthusiasm. That you feel articulate and well spoken on the things that you know. That you make deadlines. That you enjoy a social life if you enjoy it. That you're in a better mood. That you're more patient and gracious with those around you. That you're able to handle more complex tasks. Staying on top of things. Feeling like you can keep going all day long. Able to make quick and better decisions and are relaxed, poised, and calm. You feel as great as you look. Your follow-up is on point. You have many things going on and everything seems to be well managed with a lot of enthusiasm. I'm sure that you would want to have that kind of existence, right? So you can start that by building some habits around the activities that support that kind of life, that practice gratefulness, that is more mindful, that works on relationship, that relaxes and de-stresses. Very important. That are learning something new and setting healthy boundaries, eating right, sleeping well, exercising, treating yourself, getting outside. See, these habits, if you form them well and stack them on other successful habits, will honor and serve you well. And I am going to ask you, as we have been a challenge, to start to put some of these 12 things into play over a series of 12 months, to just try out some of these habits around activities that you have, that you currently do every day in some form or fashion. This is the expansion of what you do. The only way that you don't do any of these things is if you have been maybe in ICU and unable to do any of them. And exercise is the one that you will take to a different level. It is really walking cardio with a purpose, right? And so even if you're just doing minimal walking, that's the only form of exercise that you get. And you don't call that exercise, but it is the form of exercise you're getting. All of these are 12 things that you're doing, and they're either serving you well and honoring you well, or they are getting in the way potentially of you living out more self-care. Of course, our favorite among these is the practice of gratefulness, right? It's the practice, as many people say, It's the practice of gratitude. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I wanted to introduce these 12 things to you: sleep, eating right. We won't say diet. You can say diet if you want to put it there. Exercise, setting healthy boundaries, treating yourself, practice gratitude or gratefulness, getting outdoors, learning something new, relax and de-stress, which those could be separate ones, but they really work very well together. Working on relationships, being more mindful, and reflection. And we will soon have available to you a free journal that you can utilize for self-care as you go through each month. This journal, which will be in the form of an ebook, but you can also get it for free pretty soon, where you can have it an actual Word document. And if you want a hardcover binding of it, it will be for a nominal fee available to you so that you can get working on your monthly self-care. It's not something that happens overnight, but this is just one way in which you can do that very thing. So I'm excited to be able to share that workbook with you, and to also be able to share some online modules that will be available if you decide that you want to join the self-care plan. Of course, the workbook will either be an ebook, or you'll have a hardcover opportunity for this workbook. And you will also have the opportunity to join the Gratefulness Journey every day via the second leg as we do self-care. When you start working on self-care, it powers the way that you see yourself and your worthiness in the world, and it opens your eyes to so many things that you can be grateful for. And the more that you train your mind around gratefulness, the more that your mind helps you see cues to look for gratefulness. And so that is what we hope happen for you. All right. So I am so excited to provide that information to you. Again, we will have a workbook. The workbook is going to also be available on Amazon. There will be an introductory time that you can get it for a nominal fee. I think 99 cents. I say it free, but I think it's 99 cents. And then it'll go to a hardcover price. You know, you'll be able to get the ebook for 99 cents. And then you'll be able to purchase a hard book if you're a person that likes to write in something physically, right? Of course, if you just like to type online, there will be an opportunity for you to have that as well, even after the introductory kind of price. And if you want to join a community of people who want to work on their self-care over a 12-month time frame, then you'll have an opportunity to join that community, and for a very nominal price for 12 months, just a one-time price, or if you want to break it up into monthly payments, you could do that. But I think it will help you if you want to have more, any of all of those things, more better sleep, more, you want to treat yourself. You haven't even ever treated yourself. There are people I talk to, I'm surprised, they are treating others. They're throwing surprise parties for people. They're doing sweet little notes and sweet flowers, but they've never done any of those things for themselves. And no one else has done them for them. And I ask this question to people, and it sometimes stumps people. And I wonder, will it stump you? If you've ever sent someone flowers and you've seen their reaction, right? You sent them those flowers because it was something you thought that they were worthy of, right? You don't send flowers to somebody unless it's a gag gift, to somebody that you don't think is worthy of something, right? You send gifts and do nice things for the people that you think are worthy of them, right? Now, if you caught on to that and said, hey, I'm worthy of those things, and you started doing that for yourself, treating yourself, taking better care of yourself, skin, body, inside out, all of that, mind, do you believe that the people that are watching you do that will be attracted to you to do those things for you because you're setting a standard of by their observation of how you should be treated? You will be surprised that you will meet people who watch you taking such great care of yourself join in on your self-care because you set a standard of that's what you expect. It creates for you a lesson and a guide to teach people how to treat you as you're living in your own self-care. When you set healthy boundaries around your time, you set healthy boundaries around your time for reflection during the day. People respond by honoring and serving that time. You teach people how to help you care for yourself just through their observation of your consistent practices of self-care. And so I wanted to share that so that you will be able to get the Gratefulness Journey everyday self-care module. Self-care is love speaking to your worthiness is the name of that module and will be the name of that workbook that you will have. Again, it's going to cover 12 months in that workbook. So it'll be a, nice thickness to it every day, starting, once we launch it, which I believe will be June 1st. I'm kind of putting that out there, but it'll be 12 months of days. And you can write in that journal every day. You can record, okay, the first month, it's talking about sleep. And we're going into summer month when a lot of times people sleep less because some people feel that we're fully out of the pandemic. I'm not sure I fully agree with that, but we are coming out of the pandemic. Thank you, Lord. Or coming into our new normal. I feel more comfortable saying, and people are feeling more comfortable returning to some of the things that they did before. So summer is filled with concerts and filled with travel and the beach and events. And maybe not as much sleep, but sleep is important so that you can enjoy those things more deeply and enjoy the company of the people that you're around. Have you ever been at an event and been tired? You didn't feel like getting up for that next dance. You didn't feel like the electric shuffle or slide. You didn't feel like singing a karaoke song. Oh, I don't feel like, give me some water. Oh, I don't feel like, I'm not that hungry. Sleep helps in all of those things and in your ability to sit in the center of what you are experiencing and enjoy it. And so we will be talking about sleep, and you'll have the chance to write in that, okay, what am I feeling today? Or maybe you don't want to write, or maybe you want to ask yourself a question and maybe you want to answer it later in the month about sleep. But there will be information in that workbook for you to work through every day as much as you want to work through it and put it down, put it to practice, come back, sleep on it so that you will start to build that habit. And then it might take you more than 30 days to do that. And that's okay. Go through that, keep reviewing it, go to the next part. But if you want to stay kind of, in some of the live sessions that we'll have and recorded modules, those will have specific dates by which we will go, but you'll still have access to them, right? And so you'll have the opportunity to monitor your own progress in self-care. And so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you soon. Of course, I have to share with you that the Gratefulness Journey every day powers this work. It is the inspiration of this work. And this book is inspired by my dear mother, Princess Irene Holmes, who passed away in 2014. I was her primary caregiver for 6 years. And was a part of the support system before that when she needed care, but I had other siblings who were primary caregivers prior to that. And I did not have the appreciation for caregiving that I had during that, as I learned during those 6 years. And as I began to learn, as I also began to become a co-parent for my niece, Autumn, who is like a daughter to me. And so I learned invaluable things about their care and ultimately some things about my lack of self-care. And so the gratefulness journey powers all of this so that you can live not just, I just feel grateful. It's not just the feeling I want you to experience. I want you to experience the transformative power that gratefulness has to change your mind about what you experience, how you experience, and how you choose to experience it. You are in command of powerful choices, my friend. And the gratefulness journey is a great first step to get you on that path. It is available on Amazon and Kobo, and I think soon will be on a couple of other outlets. And I hope that you will purchase it. You can get the paperback. We're considering a hardcover for some people who like a hardcover, but it is also ebook for those of you that like to read on Kindle or ebook. It's available for you now. It's a short read. It's only 70 or so pages. And I did that because I believe that many of you are on the go. And while there are people who like to read 200 pages, 300 pages, there are some people who want to learn something that they can use and be able to read it while they're having coffee, read another set while they're having after dinner drink, or read another set while they're reflecting. This is that kind of short read that you can do. And because of many of you, it was number one in the self-help short reads. We'd like to get it back there. It had a small stint of time there, but we'd love to get it back there. What I really hope is that you will have the kind of experience that I've been hearing in some of the reviews that people have shared with me, some of the video reviews that you'll see across other platforms where people have been kind enough to make a video review and say, what they've experienced in this book has been great. That's been my hope. My hope certainly is for it to sell and become number one, right? Every author's dream. But more importantly than that, I want it to be a meaningful experience for people that changes their life. You're looking to change your life. The Gratefulness Journey every day is a book that you should pick up. It is a way to do that. And so again, it's available. I'm trying to work out with all of these outlets a way that I think you will love, for an opportunity for me to sign your book. It would be my privilege and pleasure to do that. And there are places that I may not be able to physically get to just yet, but there, I think, is still a way for me to be able to create the experience to bond with you as readers of my book. I'd be honored and privileged for anybody that picks up the book. And I'm open to connecting with you, if not through the modules of self-care and gratefulness, being able to connect with you through some of the various channels of social media, because your investment in this book is an investment not just in HR Passion LLC, it's an investment in you. And that's what I love about it, because we often invest in crypto, we invest in stocks, in Dogecoin, I think. We invest in our companies. But this is an investment in you. Now, it's going to bring a return like many of those other investments, but the greatest benefit will be liquid. It will be to you. Sure, you can build up those stocks, and that's great. And I think you should, for stocks that bear as much risk as you're willing to bear, right? But I think it's great that when you invest in you. So thank you. Across platforms, I'm seeing a few comments. Thank you, Lester Hugh, for joining us. I believe you're out west in California. Thank you so much. I hope you will click share. The first part of this was our virtual reality. We're trying to boost our partner real virtual events. And we have a mindfulness room that we love to have you come and be a part of, Lester. Gratefulness journey every day. When you are passionate about something, sometimes people call you mad, a fanatic. Switch it up. My view of mad is not about insane. It's about making a difference. Absolutely, Simone. Thank you so much. I believe I really believe because we do selfies, right? But we are pen, almost penalized and punished for saying I want to take better care of myself, because we're taught not to be selfish, right? And not to, we're taught to be selfless. And gratefulness is about self, ensuring that there is a path forward through gratefulness that your eyes can see, that you can experience and feel. So I agree with you. Um, Being passionate is not mad, even though, you can say I'm madly in love with you. I get that use of that word, right? It is the kind of passion, when someone is madly passionate about something, it's the kind of passion that feels blind, because you're in what one of the psychologists says is flow. And I write a little bit about that psychology principle in my book. And I also put my own spin on it, because I think flow can mean so many different things to so many different people, dependent upon the situation with which they are interacting. So flow could be the time when you finally leave out worry, right? Right? It's when the outcome, sometimes when you finally let the outcome be weightless, when you're not as invested in the outcome as you are in the experience and journey. Those are great descriptors of flow. And I talk a little bit about that in the Gratefulness Journey every day. So I agree with you. That use of that word mad, though, kind of just seems like it's blind. People say mad as in blind rage, but mad passion is when you're so passionate that you're so connected to the passion or the person that you're in flow. I describe it that way, and I believe you. And you're in your best position then, Simone, to make a difference. Now, I'm not as familiar with SparkNote, but I'll have to look that up, Lester. That might be another platform I should look into. Thank you, sir. My grandfather always said to me about gambling, which is the risk with investing: only bet what you can afford to lose. That's not just about money. That includes how much of yourself you lose. I think that is excellent, Simone. That's an excellent point. Go swimming, feel better. Can't swim, take lessons, feel better. Do care to learn, just go to the pool and wade around. Yep, I believe it. Lester, and you being the consummate swimming professional, aquatics person, maybe, fitness person, could help those of us on our journey who didn't look at it that way. Our form of exercise, which is one of the months that we will focus on. Now, of course, you can't just focus on it once and let it go, but it's for the purpose of encouraging people to build habits around these 12 things, is that you then find other opportunities for exercise that you hadn't thought of, right? I used to like walking. I like it not as much, but I park my car farther away from any place that I would go in to do business now, so that I can walk. But I love bike riding, and it's a love that I let go from when I was a kid. I had a bad bike riding experience as a kid, and I think that kind of shifted it for me, and I kind of let it go. But I'm back into bike riding, and I enjoy it. Now, sometimes I can do 2.5 miles. Sometimes I can do 5 miles. Sometimes I'm only going to do half a mile, depending on the time I set aside or how I'm feeling in that moment. I might get off, sit, reflect, get back on the bike, but it's some exercise. It's getting some exercise. I have an ab rocker. Sometimes I'll use that to the TV and watch a video or music while I'm doing that. All of these are different ways that before I hadn't thought of them as meaningful ways to build a habit around exercising. But swimming is an excellent idea. And I believe just being in the water brings you a sense of peace and might bring you a sense of balance. And self-care in a world of gratitude. And so hopefully we would not drown. Thank you for that, Lester. But I agree. It's really important among these 12 habits. And again, these are 12 habits that are to spark your self-care. You might find that 3 of these habits really resonate with you and you give more energy and time to them. That will be fine. Knowing that you can create better and deeper balance if you have all of these as habits, right? But your goal is to connect with them, empower them, and then stack the habit of gratefulness with those habits and it's going to even exponentially transform your life. And that's what we want for you to experience, is a transformation. If you're ready, if you're set, go and start the gratefulness journey every day. It is an amazing journey, and there are crooks and turns. Yesterday was the 12th anniversary of my dad's passing. What a turn for me. Some years is better than others, right? I also yesterday learned of the passing of a dear singing friend of many, many, many years, who I believe had a valiant battle with COVID, and others that over this time of this season that have lost their lives to this dreadful disease. It doesn't mean there won't be sad moments, but it does mean that you get to include in those moments gratefulness for the relationship, the experience that you had with those individuals. And so you might not be grateful for their passing. You are grateful for their living. You might not be grateful for your divorce. You might be grateful for the happy times, even if you can only recall a few of the moments right now. You might not be grateful for moving out of that home, but you might be grateful for the opportunity to make a new one. You might not be grateful for having to go back into the office or back into work quite yet, but aren't you grateful that you have an office or work to go back into? See, there's always something that you can find gratefulness in the experience as you walk the journey. And that's what I mean. There are crooks and turns. It certainly does, Simone, build resilience. It builds resilience. And I think it's important that we do build resilience for life's crooks and turns, so that we're able to rebound and bounce back more effectively, more quickly, and take the lessons forward to share with somebody else. You know, this life is not a life that we live unto ourselves. The life that you and I are living is a life of purpose that I hope is driven with passion, and that purpose to accomplish what our authentic selves were brought into this earth school to accomplish. We are here for a reason. You are here for a reason. Yep. I think we're saying the same thing. We're using different language. Bounce back to me does mean bounce forward, because you can't go forward unless you are restored to some semblance of where you were. There is a make wholeness in order for you to go forward. I think we're saying the same thing, but thank you, Simone. I believe it. Yes, we're never the same at the experience, but what we bring is a station back to where we were, make whole, so that we can go forward. Bounce back doesn't mean that you stay the same person, but you get to the same position so you can move forward. So you can leap forward in some regards. But I think we're saying pretty much the same thing. Thank you for that. And so I want to strongly encourage you again to start your journey today. The Gratefulness Journey, if you're an Amazon Prime member, many people get it the next day or 2 days in the same week. Or you can purchase the ebook and you'll have it right now. I myself read novels I have no interest in and find them to be addictive. When I'm stressed, I enjoy practicing honesty. When I'm talking with others about what I'm stressed about, or so when I am led to do charity outreach work, is when gratitude shows up. That self-care is a must. I think that self-care is important too, though I think sometimes reading novels that you have no interest in is one of the things, Lester, that's on our list of self-care habits. It's learning something new. And once you create that appetite in yourself, you open yourself to new interest. And when you open yourself to new interest, you open yourself to new experiences, ones that you had never imagined you would partake in. So I want to encourage you to keep reading books that are addictive, as you say. Keep reading books that you don't think you have an interest in. You will be surprised at how what you have learned will bring you a new connection to a person that you may never have connected with before. But because of the knowledge that you've gotten from that book, you're able to connect with new people and connect in new ways. So So I want to strongly encourage you to keep down that path and keep having those honest, open conversations with people. I think that those are important as well. Well, thank you, Simone. Thank you from France. I am always honored when you are here with us from France, and I hope that you will share it. We may have to do some other ones that are more suited to your time, and I'd love to have you on live one time to talk with you. But maybe you can help us with our France contingent, our France connections. I better say that you will share this with folks in France, and maybe we can have a special gratefulness session with the people in France. I would love it. I am excited about the opportunity to reach you and to reach people over there in your area and to reach people all throughout Europe. So I hope that you will be an ambassador of our gratefulness and self-care and join us in doing that. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for being here. And thank you all, whether you are watching via Restream on LinkedIn Live from where we are springboarding today, if you are on Facebook Live on the Marcus R. Holmes page or the Love and Stuff community page, whether you are on Twitch TV or YouTube events, I'm excited that you've joined us for this opportunity. And thank you, Simone. Yes, the French connection. And I hope that you will join us on the Gratefulness Journey every day. I will drop the link to the book across the platforms and so that you will have it. Again, we opened this with the Real Virtual Events, which is a company, and I'm going to tag them in as many of the posts as I can, who does online virtual events. So if you want to have your mindfulness retreat with just a few of your team members or up to 50 of your team members, where you go in and have mindfulness sessions. It's a beautiful room that he's created where you can go in. It has a fireplace. I know with 90-degree weather here in Detroit, I don't need a fireplace today, but I hearken back, as I wrote in my book, to a time in Phoenix, Arizona, where I sat at a fire pit at a restaurant in the heat like this, and it was clarifying. You should read that in the book. But you can have this mindfulness room designed just about any kind of way, or any room for training, learning, for opportunities in your small businesses. I especially say small businesses. It's a great opportunity and platform for you to get away from just the regular connects that you might do through Zoom and that you might do through Microsoft Teams. It's kind of a 3D avatar experience, so people get the chance to dress up in different outfits. I had on sneakers and some striped pants, and I even had blonde hair. I said yesterday was International HR Day, so I said, why not? Let's try blonde hair. And so it gives you the chance to bring out different nuances in your personality and share it with your colleagues. There are opportunities to do awards and prizes and dance moves and play music and just a whole bunch of things, and have your meetings and share content that is for learning and development, and share content that is news that everybody in the organization can use. Share the new product launch or development or implementation, or the new program that you're getting ready to launch. All of that can be done, and Real Virtual Events is the partner that you want to select, and we're glad to be partners with them. And I wanted to spend some time doing it, and I'm still looking for more volunteers to join me in the mindfulness room. So we'll do a 30-minute mindfulness session, which is a part of the self-care. So I'll be giving some free snippets for you to do in the self-care before the self-care module goes live, and we get more deep into these modules. We'll bring on guests who have expertise in some of these areas to help us as we travel through the journey, and it will be worth your investment in you. What a great Passion Fridays. If you like this content, please do more than click like, click share, and share it with 5 of your closest connections or Facebook friends or followers, and 5 of those connections that you think are well connected to other connections, so that this information gets to everyone, because everyone needs to have a plan of self-care. I'm Marcus Holmes, the HR guy, HR passion guy. Have a grateful weekend, and I'll see you soon, if not before next Passion Friday.